All right, we're getting set up here. Should be live any second now. It probably already is. And I think we're good. Got it. What is going on, team? It's Mike Collier with Midlife Fitness. If you don't already know who I am, I help midlife men and women lose weight, build muscle, improve energy, and develop healthy habits that lead to lifelong change. I like doing these I used to do on a weekly basis. It's actually been a couple weeks when I actually saw and did the last one. It was like mid-April, but since then, went on spring break. Been super busy with work. Been training for my first like high rocks race. So I've had a ton of stuff going on. So I apologize. It's been a little bit. I can't even barely call these weeklies anymore. Um, yeah, maybe every 3 weeklies, but I will get back to it and doing this on a weekly basis because hopefully you guys are getting some kind of value out of this. It's helping motivate or at least give you some information, maybe answer some questions that you have, and like I always say, like it's nice to be able to support each other on this journey as we find ourselves in midlife. It gets harder and harder to do this to improve your health and fitness. It's definitely not impossible. It can be done, but it might take a little more work. And it's all about trying to figure out like what that balance is between, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, doing the career, like all the things that make it really difficult sometimes. So I know that I live, with it on a daily basis. I have for years and years. So hopefully, like, my experience or other people that are chiming in here or comment on these videos can share um, some of things that they've learned or some of their wisdom to kind of help others through this because you're definitely not alone. So again, like I always say, I like to create like a community of support. So we help each other through this thing and we move a lot farther as a team versus by ourselves. So without further ado, so what I want to talk about tonight is kind of like the effects of alcohol on your health and fitness journey, on making progress. Um, we're all, midlife or older, so so alcohol is a pretty normal for most people, a pretty normal part of your life by this point. It's a personal choice, obviously, and you kind of wonder, like, is it really like how much is it really affecting my progress? So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. But before I forget, a couple of announcements. I posted a couple times about the Spartan race coming up in Michigan. That is the weekend of July, I think it's 13th. There are still tickets available. So if you want to do a Spartan race, it's an obstacle course race. If you've never done one before, it is a ton of fun. If you've ever wanted to try one before, we're bringing a team. We've got a bunch of people already signed up to run together, and it's just going to be a ton of fun. Being able to support each other, especially for those people that are doing it for their first time. I get it; it's scary, but a couple of us on the team have done it a few times, so we'll help guide you through. And it's a lot, like I said, if you've ever thought about doing it, now is the perfect time to do it when you got some other people there that are kind of looking out for you and can kind of guide you through it and kind of help you a little bit and definitely support you and cheer you on. So there are still tickets available. I saw in the race if you're interested in doing that, or on being on the team and starting the same time as me and the rest of the crew, then let me know. I'll send you an invite and you can join the team and we'll have a lot of fun together. Yeah. So other than that, I've been training for my High Rocks race. I am about 2.5 weeks out. Training is going really well. Getting much faster. Um, yeah, getting all kinds of little injuries. I've had a sprained ankle now for probably 3 to 4 weeks, which is kind of a pain, but I just struggle through it. But even with that, making great progress. Super excited for the race. So I've got that race coming up in a couple of weeks in California. We've got the Spartan coming up in July, and then I'm going to sign up for another race, another Spartan race, the weekend after uh, the one in Michigan. So lots of fun racing. That one's that's a Spartan like fitness race called Deca Fit, which I've never done before, but I figured give it a try. So it's close enough, so that's gonna be fun. If you want to do something like that, let me know. It's always fun to run with people and not just do it by myself. So let me know. But that's a fitness race. It's timed. It's not like an obstacle course race. There's running involved, and then In between, there's 10 rounds of it. And then in between the 10 rounds of running, there are fitness. There's exercises, whether it's rowing, skier, wall balls, burpees, like whatever it is, but it's 10 different exercises with running in between. So sounds great, doesn't it? But I'll be doing that. So if you're interested in doing something like that, it's in Fort Wayne. It's not very far away. Day trip, and it'll be a lot of fun. So, all right. So that was it. I'll get right into this PowerPoint now. Stand by, stand by. Okay. Let me share my screen here. All right, cool. All right. And as always, like if you're here, I appreciate you for showing up here. Give me a thumbs up, say hi, hello, how are you? If you have questions, I can't see because I'm in another screen. I can't see like my comments right now, but I've got my phone up. So um, hopefully they'll pop up on my phone and I can answer any questions like in real time. If you don't feel like asking a question in real time, feel free to leave it in the comments. Because I'm again, like I always say, like I'm sure there's other people that have the same questions. So you're not going to be wondering that all by yourself. But you can also, like, if you don't want to post it in public, then feel free to reach out to me, DM. I'll also at the end, I'll leave a couple links to contact me in the comments below this video. So, all right, let's get into this. All right, hopefully you can still see. All right, the effects of alcohol on your health and fitness journey. So again, we're all adults, right? And at this point, you've made the decision whether you're going to drink or not, and you've probably, you're pretty used to how you do it. But I kind of want to just talk about like what the effects that alcohol has on your health and fitness journey, on your body, on your sleep, things that you probably didn't even realize that alcohol has an effect on, even in small amounts. Okay. Um, so just kind of started off like so alcohol and fitness kind of have an opposing relationship. You really don't think of the two as one is primarily thought of as unhealthy, one is thought of as healthy. So they're opposites a lot of times. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like when it comes to fitness, it's gonna decrease your overall fitness, obviously, kind of slow your progress a little bit. But then the other part of that is that fitness actually affects alcohol. Okay. So I'm just flipping that. So improving your physical fitness by exercising, your diet, and all that stuff can and is one of the most effective ways to combat alcoholism. Okay, and start combating those negative effects in your life and developing like healthier habits. So there is a relationship there, and it's not totally bad. Okay, you can make some progress through it. So. Obviously, a lot of the stuff I don't really have to say, but drinking regularly can obviously affect your performance in the gym. The other things I'm going to talk about as far as your sleep, your metabolism, like your weight, obviously, um, and just your everyday life if you're doing too much of it, obviously. But it's a sedative. Everybody knows that. It slows you down, slows down your functions, weakens your hand-eye coordination, impairs your judgment, and slows down your reaction time. And then I'm going to cover like some of the big things and kind of the effects that it has on it. So for your metabolism, first of all, so your body uses three macronutrients to live, survive, like get energy, those being carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. They use all three of those for energy. Not so much protein. It can be used as an energy source, but it's not your body's preferential source of energy. So it will use it if it has nothing else available. So most people don't even know or don't even count it as an energy source, but it can be in a very extreme circumstances. But primarily, your body runs off carbohydrates and fats. But when you drink, that provides your body with ethanol. That's the type of alcohol that's found in alcoholic drinks. And your body will also start to burn that as an energy source. So now it's not burning carbs and fats, but it's burning ethanol. That's processed in your liver because ethanol is toxic to humans in like high dosages. So your liver then prioritizes breaking down that ethanol, getting that literally poison out of your body. So then what it does is it slows down the absorption and the metabolism of the other macronutrients, your carbohydrates and fats. Okay. Because it's so focused on getting that, breaking down the ethanol and getting it flushed out of your body. Okay. So when that happens, that's going to slow down your the metabolizing of your other energy sources. So what's going to happen is instead of that fat being used as an energy source because it's running off ethanol and trying to process that, it's going to end up storing that extra fat in your fat cells. Okay, so that's how you start to gain weight. So that's metabolism. As far as your performance goes, so and I've felt this several times, I'm sure you guys have too. You wake up with a hangover, like how motivated are you to go to the gym? I know several times, like, even having like a couple drinks and I wake up in the morning and got that slight headache because I didn't hydrate. Um, it just doesn't make you feel like going to work out right then. If I've ever missed the majority of the reasons I'll miss a workout ever, it doesn't happen very often is because I've probably like had a couple too many drinks the night before. Okay, it's just a horrible feeling. Most times it's not even worth it. But that's kind of where I'm at in my journey. But studies have shown that like a hangover can reduce your aerobic performance by 11.4%. So, and even just one drink can have an effect on you. So again, when your liver is so busy breaking down that ethanol and trying to flush that out of your system, then it's going to be less efficient at producing glucose, okay, which gives your muscles, it gives your body energy to work out, okay? So somebody that is diabetic or who has or is mixing alcohol and exercise and they're diabetic, they have problems regulating their blood sugar anyway, they're going to end up having like low blood sugar and these problems are going to be even more compounded for someone like that. Okay, so something to think about. Dehydration. So alcohol is a diuretic, which means that it increases the flow of urine, makes you have to pee more. So it kind of affects how your kidneys work. Okay, so if you've got less water in you, you're less hydrated. You're just going to feel like generally not as great. And that's really going to just a slight bit of hydration or dehydration, sorry, can affect your performance in the gym. Okay. So kind of my rule of thumb is if I'm going to drink the night before, whatever it is, I'm going to usually have like one bottle of water per alcoholic drink is kind of what I do. That way I keep myself hydrated. It's really easy to forget sometimes and kind of mess up that balance. And that's when you'll start getting like dehydrated. You get the hangover, you get the headaches and stuff like that. So try to stay hydrated. So again, rule of thumb, one bottle of water per one alcoholic drink. Okay. So the timing of your drinks can really compound this too. So like you'll see those guys that play like or guys or girls that play like recreational softball, beer leagues, they're not only drinking, but they're also working out, they're sweating. So that dehydration factor just gets compounded. All right. So they can be doubly dehydrated. So things to think about. Moving right into sleep. So, and I heard this a couple years ago, and it just kind of I never really thought of it this way, and it was like an eye opener to me. Is that um, so like a glass of wine, a drink can make you fall asleep faster, but it actually disrupts your sleep. Okay, it lessens the quality of your sleep. So even though you're thinking like, oh man, like a beer, a glass of wine, whatever is really gonna like put me to sleep like that's why I need to relax. Yes, you will fall asleep faster, but again, that quality of sleep is not going to be as good. All right. And the term that I heard is that sedation is not sleep. Pretty simple. Sedation's not sleep. So yeah, that was huge. Yeah, because what it does is it interrupts your deep sleep patterns. And that's what your body needs to really like recharge. So the amount of deep sleep is lessened. So you're just not going to get that as much recovery from your sleeping. Plus, when you're tired, your body craves energy. So a lot of times you're going to make poor food choices. Your body's going to naturally seek and it's going to mess with your hormones so that you are seeking out high energy food sources. High energy food sources are also high calorie food sources. Calories are just a measure of energy. So your body's going to naturally like push you to the things that are high calorie. So like your sugary, highly processed foods, things like that. It's going to crave like pizza, it's going to crave that fat and those carbs because it wants that energy source. All right. All right, muscle growth. So when you go to the gym, when you work out, what you're actually doing is you're not building your body in the gym. You're actually doing the opposite. You're actually breaking it down. So you're creating damage, little micro tears in your muscles. and while you're in the gym training. So really when you make those gains when you grow is during that recovery phase. So it can take up to 48 hours for your muscles to recover to build back stronger. But if you drink, that's going to slow down that recovery and rebuilding process because, like I said, it's going to mess with your metabolism. So it's instead of breaking down your carbs and your fats and your proteins, it's going to be so focused on breaking down that ethanol and removing that from your body. That's going to slow down those other processes. So it's gonna lengthen your recovery time, um, and not be able to get you back to the gym as fast. Okay. So heart health. So this has been kind of controversial. I know we've gotten a lot of like conflicting information on this. Like on one hand, we're told like a glass of wine a day is like good for your heart, and then you hear that it's not. So it's kind of they've actually done studies on it. There's been several studies, and take it for what it's worth. It really with things like that, it really depends on who pays for the study as far as what the results are. But they did a pretty exhaustive study of like 900,000 people and found that like moderate drinking on a regular basis actually increases your risk of developing arrhythmia and irregular heartbeats. Okay. So it's all about the amounts that you're drinking. All right. So that's all the bad stuff. So the effects of fitness on alcohol, not the effects of alcohol on fitness. We're going to flip it. So the effects of fitness on alcohol. So even though alcohol is bad for fitness, fitness is great for alcoholism. So if you have a problem with alcohol and you're trying to get healthier, improve your health and fitness. Okay. Work on that. All right. So studies have shown that when you exercise and you're physically active, the less you tend to drink. Okay. Because now you are replacing those endorphins, those good feelings, by using exercise versus seeking out that alcohol to do that. All right. Much more healthier outlet. But it releases that dopamine like from the exercise. You're not chasing that unnatural release of dopamine through alcohol, drugs, or anything else. All right. And then once you start making those healthier choices like that, it just kind of keeps stacking up and compounding on each other. And before you know it, you're just living a better quality of life. Working out's a great stress reliever as well, that you want to take advantage of. So it's gonna, instead of drinking to get those sedative effects of alcohol, then go for a run, go for a walk, go for a quick workout. How many times have you just not felt like doing something like that, and then you work out for a little while and you feel like 10 times better, and you're glad that you did. All right. So your mind and body will thank you later. Okay. And just some final thoughts. And again, I'm not judging you if you drink. I'm not judging you if you don't drink. We're all adults. It's your personal decision. We all have different goals. Really, what I found over the years is that I'll kind of fluctuate. If I have a very specific goal, if I'm getting ready for like a physique show or a race or something like that, then there is no alcohol because I know that it's going to really slow my progress and not have a good effect on me. It's not going to add to my results. It's going to keep me kind of farther away from those. But if I don't have those things going on, then I will occasionally drink because that's quality of life stuff. That's part of being social. Um, Not for everybody, but it is for most adults that I know anyway. So it's kind of like, so just having a few drinks on the weekends, like it's not going to erase, just like it says here, it's not going to erase an entire week of, sweet workouts or making really good food choices. Okay. But it can definitely slow down your progress. All right. So those are things to kind of to keep in mind. So, like I said, it's all your personal decision. It's based on your goals, but whatever you do, think about long-term process and the of your health and fitness journey and try to figure out how is alcohol going to fit into that. Okay. And again, like it may fluctuate. Like sometimes you're just like we're always changing plans, we're always progressing, going into different phases. It can be the same thing with your alcohol consumption. Okay, like I said, during those times when you're got something, a special event coming up, you want to look your best or you want to like make really good progress, then really alcohol is gonna slow that down. So those are times you really want to turn down or turn off the alcohol consumption. Then those other times when you're don't have something like that going on, then you can have a couple of drinks. Okay, it all depends on what your goals are and how fast you want to achieve those. So that is all I had. Hopefully, you guys got some value out of that. Maybe you learned some things that you didn't realize alcohol affects, like your metabolism and your sleep and all that stuff. I know over the years it was an eye opener for me. So, but hopefully, you guys got some value. If you have questions, if there's something that specifically that you want me to talk about or have questions about, just let me know. Leave it in the comments. DM me, reach out to me. I'll leave my contact information in the comments under this video. Other than that, guys, have a great rest of your Thursday. Have a great, safe weekend and stay healthy.